Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is the 55th part of What If Deku Was a Magical Girl Mascot, Quirk, Magical Girl Mascot. The author of this great fan fic is Emma Ively. Links to them and original story in the description. Chapter 55, Training for the License Exam. Aizawa sighed as he led the class to the gym. Not because the lesson that they were going have. It wasn't what they were working on was going to be tough, but that a good chunk of his class already had something similar to the lesson. He did silently wonder what would have happened if Izuku was placed into Class 1B, after all things would be different if he and his first two student partners were there. But still, he had to do that class. Alright. Welcome to Gym Gamma, or as it's called, Training Land, said Aizawa. Now do you have any questions? Several hands went up. No. Disney hasn't tried to sue us, said Aizawa. A couple of the hands went down. Also, there is no facility here with the initials of TDS, said Aizawa. The remaining hands went down. Aizawa could only groan. If you do build a TDS, it better be better than this place, said Kaminari. Aizawa just face-palmed that comment. Anyways, until the license exam we're going to be working on ultimate moves, said Aizawa. Everyone was confused by this. He began to explain ultimate moves to his students. Special moves that would be a final move. He even revealed that before the transformation, Tenya's own reciprocal burst was considered an ultimate move. Now do you have any questions? Said Aizawa. He honestly wasn't surprised when all of the magical girls raised their hands. I am aware that all of you have plenty of ultimate attacks using your wands, said Aizawa, especially you Bakugo. Probably not a good idea to have Katsuki do something with her current ultimate attack. However, I don't know if you have done everything you can do with your wands, said Aizawa. I'm sure you can find out new ways to use them. I have a question, do I have to focus on one move? Asked Izuku. Aizawa looked at Izuku and realized he should have known he asked that question. If you want to try out several new moves during this training you can, said Aizawa. Izuku nodded. Something he hadn't told the rest of the class was that he had gained another quirk from bonding with All Might. One he hadn't really gotten a chance to try out yet. Meanwhile, Toshinori sighed. She was allowed to have a day off from schoolwork. There wasn't much for her to do until school got back into session, but still. She is still contacted to act as a teacher. But today was important. Because it was agreed upon day to meet with her former sidekick. A sidekick who parted always after seeing her future with his quirk that lets him see into the future. A future he said that All Might would die due to the injuries. However, after everything, they had to talk. So Easy decided to meet in a cafe and talk over drinks. She sighed. She hoped the conversation wouldn't be too awkward. That was when her former sidekick walked over to the table. He couldn't help but to stare. Honestly, the staring was something to be expected due to, the pretty much entirely new body. Mirai, said Toshinori. I'm sorry for staring, it's just that in person, said the former sidekick whose first name was Mirai aka Sir Nidai, though at the moment it was just Mirai. This was a personal meeting after all. Back in the gym, Izuku was taking some breaths. His costume was altered slightly since the camp due to the fact, he had tested out the quirk beforehand, but hadn't really used it yet. Said alteration was a flap in the back. He opened the flap and used the quirk. That was when suddenly large mint green wings appeared from his back. He had gotten used to flying his mascot form, so it should be easy for him to fly in his human form. Unfortunately, he underestimated various things. While he was able to take off, he quickly crashed because he wasn't used to his wing proportions as a human. In his animal form, his wings were cute and small, while in human form they were large and angelic looking. So the portions in the wing size caused him to crash. Of course, everyone in the gym noticed it. Of course, muttered Aizawa. Back at the cafe, the two mostly sat in silence. "So, you haven't changed your wardrobe?" said Mirai. "I have no plans to," said Toshinori. She motioned over to her pants and t-shirt. "They actually fit better than before." "That's because of how skinny you were," muttered Mirai. "Yeah," said Toshinori. "Also, I checked out women's pants. I'm actually considering teaming up with Best Jeanist to make a brand of women's pants with real pockets." "What?" asked Mirai. "You don't want to know," said Toshinori. "Wait, did you just say you want to make a brand of pants with real pockets?" said a nearby woman. "Why, yes," said Toshinori. "Thank you. I had taking my purse everywhere," said the woman. "Sometimes I just want to go somewhere with just a phone and my wallet and not bring a purse. I will love you more than before if you make that happen." Toshinori just laughed. He should have known that would be a reaction. Mirai was just confused. Back in the gym, Izuku laid on the ground in his animal form. Aizawa knew it would probably be a good idea to take a break after that crash. "You okay?" asked Ochako. "I'm fine," sighed Izuku as he got up. Wait. So you do have wings in human form?" asked Mina. "Sort of," explained Izuku. "It's hard to explain." "You're going to explain anyways, aren't you?" asked Kaminari. Izuku's sweat dropped. "You see, I can summon my wings in human form, but they take the form of a quirk," said Izuku. "I don't think I'd be able to summon my wings otherwise." He also didn't want to explain that had all of his partners had a quirk, chances were good he wouldn't be able to use his wings. However, due to the fact that Melissa was quirkless, she was able to summon his wings. He didn't know that 100%, but he was pretty sure. "Okay. I'm going to have to ask for some time on the training grounds for your own personal training time so you can learn to fly then," said Aizawa. "Also, I don't think you should use All Might's quirk at the moment and focus on making moves at the moment." Izuku nodded, knowing that Aizawa was right. Everyone went back to training their own ways. Back in the cafe, Toshinori knew that they couldn't avoid the biggest conversation of all forever. "When you saw my future, that was I was going to die. I was a woman in your vision?" asked Toshinori. Mirai sighed. "No. You weren't," said Mirai. "Do you think," said Toshinori, "that your fate has been changed?" "Yes," said Mirai. Toshinori's eyes widened. "It wouldn't surprise me one bit if Midoriya's quirk has the power to reshape destiny. I have seen many things through the years, and a quirk like his," said Mirai, "it wouldn't surprise me one bit that he can change many things with his bonds." While it was a nice speech, but there was something that Hiro knew about her old friend. "You're still into Pretty Ure," said Toshinori. Mirai sighed. "I'm still into Pretty Ure," he explained. Pretty Ure was a very popular long-running magical girl series that was very well known for having an adult male fanbase. Toshinori started laughing. "So me turning into a magical girl, it's something you never knew you wanted?" laughed Toshinori. Mirai just blushed at this. It was probably better for Toshinori to get it out of her system. Back at the gym, Izuku was thinking about many things. New ways to combine his quirks. That was when he realized something. Something he could try out based on an earlier combination move he created. He gathered some loose rocks as part of the experiment. He touched all of them, first activating one of the quirks, touching them, then switching to Ochiko's, causing the rocks to float. Once he had them all high enough in the air, then he switched to Shoto's quirk. At the same time, Shoto was trying to figure out if she could use her wand to fly due to the nature of the wind attack. That was when there was a huge boom, though the gym, and fire started to rain down. Shoto shot enough water into the air to try to help with the fire rain. "What the fuck did you just do, Deku?" she heard Katsuki yell. Back in the cafe, Toshinori had finished laughing. So you're not upset about this? Said Toshinori. Of course not. Said Mirai, I didn't want to watch you die, that's why I left. I couldn't bear to see that. I did train Mirio to become your successor, but this is probably be the best thing that could have happened. You don't need to give up your mantle for who knows how long. Mirio can be a great hero without it. I almost gave it to Midoriya twice. Admitted Toshinori, but the first time ironically it was because of the fact he was already bonded with 4 people with a 5th plane. I knew he wouldn't be able to hide it. And not counting you, he has twice as many partners. Said Mirai. Yeah. Laughed Toshinori. What about the second time? Said Mirai. We wouldn't even be talking here if I ended up doing it the second time. Said Toshinori. Mirai knew what he meant. The fight with all for one. I think we can both agree I went with the better option. Said Toshinori. Mirai nodded. Why did you procrastinate? Asked Mirai. I have no idea. Said Toshinori, I guess there was just something telling him not to give it away just yet. I'm glad I listened to the voice. Mirai nodded. Back at the gym, Izuku was laughing nervously. Okay, that's a really bad idea. He said. Well, part of the pointing of training to see if something doesn't work. Said Aizawa, looking like he was done for the day. He just wanted to crawl into sleeping bag until the next day, but they still had time. There were still fires all over the gym. Momo had made a few fire extinguishers and Shoto used her water attack. The only one not helping in some way was Katsuki, to the fact she would make things worse. Don't do that combination again. Said Aizawa, using his quirk on Izuku as a show of intimidation. Izuku shuddered as his quirk disappeared. Teach, did you forget something? Yelled Katsuki. Aizawa started sweating as Shoto was unable to use her water thanks to him turning of Izuku's quirk. Also, it didn't help that Tenya was helping by using her wand to slow down the flames so that someone else could put them out. Aizawa closed his eyes, having forgetting that it turned off the magical girl's powers. Never do that again. Muttered Aizawa. Izuku nodded as he fixed the back of his costume so that his tail was in the hole. Back in the cafe. Did your necklace just turn gray for a few seconds? Asked Mirai. I think it has something to do with young Izuku's training. Said Toshinori, I've heard that the jewels turn gray should Aizawa used his quirk on him. I see. Said Mirai. Mirai. I was wondering if you wanted to team up again in the future, like old times. Said Toshinori. Not anytime soon. Said Mirai, I'm busy with a long investigation, but once it's finally over. Toshinori smiled, she of course knew it was going to be a while. By the way, how much did Midoriya enjoy his internship in the spring? Said Mirai. He did not enjoy it one bit. Muttered Toshinori. He told you? Asked Mirai. Not really. But due to circumstances I can't see him liking it. Said Toshinori. I see. Said Mirai. Toshinori smiled. What are you thinking of offering him a work studies if he passes the license exam? Said Toshinori. Maybe. Said Mirai. I'm sure he'll have a better time than he had with Endeavor. Said Toshinori. He was with Endeavor? Asked Mirai. Toshinori nodded. Of course there could many bad things with Endeavor that could go wrong now that he thought about it. That was when Mirai checked his phone. I should get back to work. He said, we need to do this again. I'd like that. Said Toshinori with a smile. Mirai left. As he did, he sent a text to Gran Torino saying, you win. And then used a money app to send him some money. It involved a bet between the two of them and it's better not known what the bet was about. At the moment. Sometime later in the dorms, Izuku was sighing heavily. That was just one day, Deku. Muttered Katsuki. I know. Sighed Izuku. Come on. Did you try to at least get some time in one of the other training grounds? Asked Toru. Aizawa called Mom and asked to see if there were any times tomorrow during the fire. Said Izuku, I got a few training times booked. Oh, that's a relief. Said Ochako. We don't want you to crash anymore. Said Tsuyu. Yeah. Sighed Izuku. By the way, do you think one of those training times could be used doing something else? Asked Katsuki. What do you mean? Asked Izuku. Then he realized that it meant super mode. Oh, you do that a good point. Said Ochako. We do have to figure out how it works even if it's an emergency mode. Said Tenya. Yeah. Said Izuku, knowing they were right. Either way, turning for the license exam had begun, and hopefully with what they will learn in the training will help them gain their licenses. And also Izuku didn't know that he had a bright future ahead should he pass the exam. That will be it for this part. I hope everyone enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and comment if you want part 56. If you want to hear more from me, subscribe. I hope to see you all in the next one.